With so much content out there, how do you filter through all the noise and cut straight to the value? What has become very apparent is that the best way to learn is to surround yourself with those you aspire to be. But you can't just watch what they do. At some point you have to turn it into an action. Knowledge isn't power. Applied knowledge is power. On this podcast, you will go on a journey as we speak to people who are making the difference in their industries, and people who, if you listen to closely and take action, can turn you into who you want to be. My name is Mark Sclaire, and this is the Building a Successful Career podcast. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Building a Successful Career. Now, I have two parts to my podcast. One is failing my way in public to success, and the other one is I bring people on that I've either met, been inspired by, and also met, and I want to pick their brains because everything we do, everything we learn, we're inspired by people around us. So we can't just learn everything, and it's not all coming from us originally. There's people that we need to speak to, pick their brains, understand how they're doing it, and from that we can learn and develop. So for me, it's all about being very humble, and I'm going to ask a person some questions now. And whilst I'm learning, the audience will be listening and they'll be picking up some great tips as well. So on the show today, I have someone that I met just over a couple of years ago now at an event, and it was a sales and marketing event. And we were told that there was a person coming that was going to do some meditation. And I was thinking, oh no, not another meditation session. Like what's going on here? But the moment I met him, the energy was drawn to it. You know, you could see this bright light with him, and it was just great to see, great to feel. And as much as I was a bit wary of it, I was open to listening and exploring maybe some new ways to actually be better at what I'm doing. So this person, I'm going to introduce him now, but I can't do it justice so I will let him explain what he does and what he does and who he is. So Brett, would you like to introduce yourself? How are you?
Mate, I think that was a pretty good introduction. I'll take that one, Mark. Yeah, I'm good, thank you, mate. Yeah, I'm really good. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, so yeah, basically I at the moment I'm an author, online entrepreneur, and a yoga teacher. So it's a bit of a yin and yang, a bit of a mixture of different stuff going on there. And I've been just sending online courses, teacher training courses in Thailand for the last several years, and just writing books, mate, living in Thailand, drinking coconuts. It's a pretty good job.
Yeah, I think you got a great work-life balance, which is what everyone kind of wants, really.
Yeah. I've just spent most of the morning doing yoga, meditation, some breath work, then a workout, and then I went down to like a juice corner and just had some shots of turmeric and a celery juice. And now I'm ready to start my day with you. Yeah, it's a good life. It's a very good life.
Yeah, I think that's what everyone's searching for, really. So that's amazing to hear. Now, unfortunately, not everybody, like we all have that vision of having that great work-life balance, but a lot of us, we wake up and we just feel rough. We don't want to get up. We don't want to go to work. They say 80%, 87% of people don't like their job. They're not happy to go into work. And that number is just scary and sad, really, to hear that people are like that. Now, it isn't a case of you can just wake up and everything's going to be perfect. There has to be a way to start this where we can start to turn the corner and practice certain steps that would get you to at least start the day in a good place. So if you were to advise somebody now on the audience, like what are some good steps, what are some good processes to at least be in the right mindset? So when you do turn up to work, at least you're not hating everything around you. At least you can be prepared for it.
Yeah, good question, mate. I think I'd answer it in two ways. So I'd answer it for the person that's kind of in that 87% bracket that wants to kind of get out but don't know what to do. I think the first thing that I would say is you need to have some kind of vision or some kind of dream where you want to be in the next year or maybe the next 5 years of your life. I think people that are in that 87%, if they haven't got like a vision or they haven't got like a big goal of where they want to be in the next couple of years, then they're still going to be in that 87% in a year's time. And this isn't kind of like meditation or anything like woo woo. This is kind of common sense, really, but it's just not common practice.
No.
If you think about where you want to go, what your job, and that's all I did many years ago. I used to work like 3 jobs. I was working in a factory at night time, 7 o'clock at night until 4 o'clock in the morning, stacking shelves, you know, and then I'd wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning. I have like 4 hours sleep. I'd wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then I'd go to my other job, and in the evening I did something to get a bit of extra money. So like I was exhausted, mate, but every break that I had, I was working on my dream. Every weekend, instead of going out down the pub with my mates and doing what everyone else was doing, even though I was like, am I a bit weird because I'm not doing what normal people do?
Yeah.
I was writing out my goals, visualizing. I was working on like an online business, and I never had a clue if it was going to work back then, and that was years ago. And so now, really, it's just the consequences of what I did in all of those hours. But yeah, I've been there where people have hated that job, you know, and I've had like 2 or 3 of them just paying my credit card bills and just paying my rent. But one thing that I definitely would share with people is if you're in that bracket, you have to have some kind of dream or some kind of vision. You know, you've just got to have a plan, another plan, you know, and that's what I've always focused on is to get out of where I don't want to be, is to have my plan. And I've still got it now. You know, I've still got where I want to be in the next 5 or 10 years. And now it's just easier because I get to do yoga and meditation in the morning.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing, you know, if you're not happy where you are, there's only one person that's going to get you out of it, and that's yourself. And we live in such exciting times right now. We live in such an amazing opportunity in this world with the online stuff and, like, you know, picking your career and who you want to become. You truly can change your career or your job and become somebody that you want to be, and create that kind of financial income that you want to create. Probably create more than a 9 to 5 job. There's a great quote by Bob Proctor. He says the worst way to make money is get a job. Yeah. I love that. He said people that have got a job, they always get the same income every year. You're always going to earn the same bracket. If you really want to make money, you've got to do something for yourself. So yeah, that's my first thing. And then the second thing, mate, just that if you are in a job that you're just feeling tired, or you want more energy, more clarity in your mind, or you just want the day to go a lot smoother, it's obvious that I'm definitely going to say like a 5-minute meditation practice in the morning, or a 5-minute a breathing exercise. We do a lot of breath work on our courses, and we just teach people to change their breathing patterns. So for example, you could breathe in for 5 counts, hold your breath for 5, breathe out for 5 counts, and hold your breath for 5. And then you repeat that kind of cycle, that pattern for like 5 minutes, and you come out of it. It's like a little buzz. It's like you're literally sending more oxygen to your brain. And then you do like a couple of minute meditation. I guarantee if you did that for 30 days, you would feel such a difference in your life. Like not just going to work, like in your relationships, in your self-esteem, in your mental health, you would notice a massive, massive difference. So I would always say, literally, your day is set up by the way when you wake up. Like you set your day up when you wake up, and then your week is set up, and then your month is set up, your life is set up, like what you do in the morning. So even when I was working, the first thing I would always do is get up and do a practice. Like I've been meditating for 20 years now. And even when I was going into these jobs that I didn't like, I was still getting up and meditating for 10, 20 minutes. Just because I knew I didn't like my job and I didn't want to get into it. So I was like, I need to sort my nut out. So I'd meditate and I'd go in there and I just feel a bit calmer and a little less stressed.
So with the breathing though, the exercise, is it both through the nose, or is it in through the nose, out through the mouth?
Yeah, I mean, there's hundreds of different breathing exercises. Okay. So you can do it. Yeah. So normally I would say the most simple one, you can do this before you even get out of bed.
Yeah.
You know, and I still do this today. You're laying in bed and you open your eyes, and then what happens? The mind's like, oh, I've got to do this, got to do that. Did I do this? It's gone straight away. And we've all got it. Even though I've been meditating for years, it still does it to me. So what I do is before I get out of bed and just be like a robot to this voice in my head, I just stop and I just lay there for like a minute, and I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, breathing in from my nose. I hold the breath and I count to 5 in my head, and then I breathe out of my nose. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold my breath 5 seconds, and then I just do it. So it's in through the nose, out through the nose. But again, if you do it through the mouth, it's okay. It's not going to be a massive change. No. But yeah, it's just.
That was one of the exercises that we did at the event, and it's something that I've been doing continuously ever since. So that was definitely something. And I learned, like when you said through the nose and through the nose, or in through the nose, out through the nose, I hadn't done that. It's always been like in through the nose, out through the mouth. For me, like the nose to the nose, I don't know, it just felt a lot clearer.
Yeah, they say you get a lot more oxygen, like as you're breathing in, as we know, like you're sending oxygen to the cells inside your body. But the trouble is, most people are not taking a full breath in. And so if you start breathing in for 5 breaths, you're expanding your lungs, you're sending more oxygen. And that's when you start to feel a bit of a buzz. Like I generally do it because I feel high on it. I'm like, bloody hell, like, you know, and again, you can do a really fast breathing exercise to give you more energy. There's hundreds of different ones, but that is probably the most basic one. Anybody can do that if you're just laying in bed. And again, it would reduce stress, reduce anxiety, reduce all of these kind of uncomfortable emotions that we feel. And it would definitely give you more clarity, like you say.
Yeah. I think as well, like it's so important to be aware once you wake up, because you know your go-to thing is your phone. Your go-to thing is like something external that you need to check, you need to do. But what I try to do is, you know, I put that phone away, I put it in the drawer. I can't look at it for at least the beginning part of the day, because most of the time there's only going to be something bad on there, some stupid message, some stupid news article or something like that. So I just try to completely take myself away from everything for at least like the first hour. And maybe I should practice kind of allowing it to come in, because it's how you respond to stuff. But I prefer just to not let it in at all, because then I'll try to be breathing continuously all day.
Because of the news.
Yeah. But no, that breathing exercise for me and everyone that's listening, like just a simple thing like that. And what I've learned as well is don't just jump up in the morning. Like allow yourself just to kind of let the world come to you first of all. Like you're waking up, you do your breathing exercises, and then I mean I do some prayers in the morning as well. So there's a certain prayer which is like when your soul leaves your body whilst you sleep at night. The soul comes back to you when you wake up. So I do a prayer to sound thankful for that, for allowing my soul to come back.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
just those couple little things, that couple of extra minutes or 5 minutes, rather than rushing around doing stuff. Like I go to the gym in the morning and I want to get up to go, but I need that 5 minutes first of all, just to have a bit of clarity. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, you know, you're waking up. A lot of people are waking up stressed already. Like they wake up stressed and then they just go back into more stress. And I think like, even if you're not an entrepreneur or a business person, like we all need to kind of, like you say, slow down and just wake up, just to gather our thoughts, just to kind of, okay, do I need to follow these stories that are going on in my head? Do I need to give all my attention to like the news that's on my mobile phone? Or should I just take a moment to connect to me, whether you believe it's a soul or spirit or just, you know, your energy, whatever you want to call it? Like, do I just take a moment to connect to me? And I found personally that's just really helped my mental health. Like, I'm the same as you. I don't touch my phone until later. Like I don't have Instagram or Facebook on my phone. I delete the apps off my phone, and it's just you get your life back, mate. It's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. So at the event that I attended, and you know, I was open to it but wary of it as well. There was an exercise which you did, which was you wanted us to write down a list of like all of the problems that you're facing at the moment. So you make this whole list, and you've got this long list. And then do you want to explain it a little bit further? Because I don't want to kind of ruin it. But you asked everyone to make this list. Yeah,
is that where we separated them and then we? Yeah. So I just want to double check because it was a couple of years ago. So basically, you've got so much stuff going on in your head, right? You've got loads of to-do lists, you've got stress, you've got goals, you've got demands, you've got desires, and that's amazing. But the kind of exercise is to really help people. It's kind of like a brain dump, if I'm really honest, Mark. You know, we've got so much going on. You just write down a list of everything that's going on in your head. And then what you do is you put like a circle around all of the things that you can control, you know, and then you take all of those ones that you put a circle around and you put them on a new list. So now you've got 2 lists. You've got the list of all the things that you can control, and then you've got a list of all the other things that you can't do. So for example, if on my list, I wake up and I'm worried about my girlfriend's, I don't know, smoking habit or something. I'm just making this up. I can't control that. You know, she's the one that's got to quit smoking. So if I wouldn't put that on my list of the things that I can control, you know, I would leave that there. And the point of it is like, I'm not going to help her and I'm not going to help myself. If I'm so stressed out about her smoking and all I ever do is worry about it. Or on the other side, if you've got on your list of things that you can control, like getting 5 new prospects, new clients this month, that's what you can control. So you then put that on your list of the things that you can control. And so basically you've got two lists. One of the things that you can control, and you'll have about 10 or 20 things of the things that you can't control. There's nothing you can do about it. And what we do is like a little ritual, like a meditation or prayer, whatever way you want to look at it, is to let go of the stuff that you can't control. Because so many people are trying to change each other. They're trying to change, the weather. They're trying to change all of these things that they literally have no control over. And so they just waste so much time, so much energy. And it's like the normal conversation. Everybody's moaning and complaining about things that they can't really change. So like for me, I'm always somebody that's a bit more practical. What can I control or what can I change? So once you've realized that you're just stressed out and worried or focused on all the things that are not really helping you, you can just let go of that rubbish.
Yeah.
And then you look at the list of all the things that you put a circle around. So for example, I need to get 5 new clients this month. And then what you do is you ask yourself, what 3 actions can I take? Maybe in the next 24 hours, maybe in the next week, like what actions can I take to move me one step closer to achieving the goals on the list that I can control? And it's such a powerful exercise, because then that really, that energy empowers you a lot more to start taking action on the things that will actually make a big difference in your life. If I've got 5 new clients, boom, I've put a lot more money in my bank account. If it was my smoking habit and I say I'm going to quit tomorrow, boom, I'll quit tomorrow. I'll put those things on my list, etc. So yeah, it's a really powerful exercise.
Yeah, I mean, like the list that I made, it involved like family members, so like my parents, for example. And you worry about them. They're in the UK, I'm in Dubai, so you're kind of worrying about them. But then, what can I do? What can I actually do? And it's easy to kind of have it in your mind, but once you write it down, once you actually see it, right, that's a list. And like, there's nothing I can do there. What can I actually do? I can worry, but what good's going to come of that? Yeah, and there was a couple of other things as well, but just kind of what you want to be as well. Like you're worrying about the future that you want to have. So it's always something that's in front of you rather than like right now, really.
Yeah.
Our biggest fears, I think, are kind of like what's going on ahead. Am I going to be able to get this? Will I be able to do this? Oh, I can't do this. And it's so much fear. But if we live right now and we control what we can control, you control the controllables, as they say. I think at least you give yourself a better chance of having a better successful day, successful week, successful month.
Yeah, 100%. Just like I think you just hit the nail on the head, mate. Just give you more control in your life, right? You've got a list of things that you can physically take action on. Okay, I'll start making a plan. I'll take some action today. Boom, 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 boom. That just feels like such a much better energy than sitting there looking at the others going, oh my God, I can't do anything. It's like powerless versus being powerful. Yeah.
Oh, it's crippling for people though, like really, because it's so overwhelming at times. Like you just feel like you can't do anything. But if you ask yourself that question, can I do anything about this? Yes. Okay, so what am I going to do? If I can't do anything about it, okay, leave it.
Yeah.
It's But this moves me on to my next part now, because self-doubt, anxiety, like 2 massive problems with people at the moment. And again, it's crippling. So apart from like the breathing exercise, which is brilliant to do, is there anything else you would recommend with that?
Yeah, I think obviously for the anxiety, so like panic attacks or anxiety, 110% meditation and breathing exercise. And my best advice for that is like, I would share with everybody, like never say like it's my anxiety or even like my depression or when you say it's like mine, you start to attach to something, what I would say, what I get like students to do when they come to our teacher training courses, our meditation programs, I actually get people to say there's a sensation, there is anxiety or there is a depression or there is this, but don't say it's mine, because then what happens is if I say Brett's anxiety and my depression, I've now created a story of who Brett is, and then and that just makes it 10 times worse. So if anybody has anything really severe like anxiety, panic attacks, depression, things like that, I would definitely say my first step is like, it's not yours. Like it ain't yours. No. So let go of it. And straight away, even that in itself, like, oh, shit, okay, that's not mine. So now what do I do? I just breathe into this feeling in my chest or this bubbly, wherever it is, or this funky stuff in my brain. So I always say to people, never attach to it. It's easier said than done. Don't get me wrong, Mark. It takes some time. You've got to meditate and breathe through it. It doesn't happen overnight. But that is probably the best technique for anybody. Just let go of the attachment to what you think you are. Once you do that, like your mind is very clear and empty. And then a very practical thing, if anyone's got self-doubt, for example, let's just say that they're coming on your online courses and they're doing stuff and they're working with you and they've got this dream to, you know, make a 6-7 figure business at the end of the year, and they want to create their own online platform, but then they've got that self-doubt that just riddles them, and they've got all this, it cripples them. That fear literally stops people dead in their tracks. I would say that's about self-image. I would say, like, you've got to look at what your self-image is. Because no matter how great the coach is, no matter how amazing the techniques are, if you inside your brain don't believe that you can be that person and you don't see that, then nobody's going to be able to help you achieve it ever. I don't think. And I think that's what self-doubt comes from. It's actually feeding this old self. And the way I describe the self-image is like, you never pick the self-image. Like, your mum and dad picked it for you, your brothers, your sisters, your peers, your teachers, or even society. It's molded us and conditioned us to be who we are. And then we grow up and we have things like anxiety, self-doubt, fear, but we never pick that self-image. And the greatest thing about a self-image is that you get to choose who you want to become. You know, the whole point of being a human being is becoming. Like, we're always self-actualizing. You know, we want to transcend to a higher level of consciousness, which means awareness. We always want to become, whether it's like succeed as a millionaire, whether it's succeed in a family, whether it's succeed getting a six-pack and go to the gym. We always want to improve and we want to become better, because that's just actually in our DNA. Like, that's an amazing quality. And when we stop becoming, because maybe self-doubt, self-fear, and self-image, when we stop becoming, we become stuck, we become stagnant. And that's when depression and stuff like that kind of kicks in, because there's a conflict in us. We know that we can become, but we're not becoming. So we feel stuck and we just feel like in this dark place. So I would say, like, if you've got self-doubt and if you've got fear, the first thing that I would do is go straight into, like, what is the self-image? Like, who do you really believe you are? Not when you're talking to somebody online, not when you're trying to impress your girlfriend or your mates down the pub, but like when you close your eyes at nighttime or when you look in the mirror, how do you really talk to yourself? You know, and you've just got to change that self-image. And then the second thing is, everybody's going to have doubt and everybody's going to have fear. And I think the best way to squash that stuff is to take action. It's like, I still get fear. You know, we're starting something new in our company right now, and the fears come up because it's a lot of money. And I'm like, great, I'm on the right path. Years ago, I was doubting myself, thinking, oh no, I'm not going to grow, because I never had that confident self-image. Now I know when fear arises or self-doubt arises, it's actually a good sign to say that you're about to grow, you're about to shed some skin. So yeah, number one, definitely a new self-image is definitely needed. And number two, don't be so afraid of the fear. It's like, it's actually your friend, and you can become fearless if you move through it.
Yeah, I guess, you know, growth only happens in uncomfortable situations. If you're comfortable, you don't grow. So it's good to have those pressures, but it's how you respond to it, isn't it? But in regard to like the meditation, you know, what people think, you know, don't think about anything, don't think about anything. And what do? You think about stuff, don't you? Yeah. So what would someone do there? Like, what do they? I think what you're going to say is like the breathing, like you just recognize the breathing going in and out. And I have tried that, and it does work at times, but then all of a sudden my mind just goes off again. So is there anything else which can kind of stop you from trying not to think?
Yeah, but the point that you're making there, mate, like when that mind goes off and then you catch it, like that's actually the meditation. Like, so a lot of people have this, a lot of people think the myth of meditation is that you close your eyes and nothing's going on, it's completely empty. I ain't got there yet. You know, don't get me wrong, I have moments and hours and good practices, but as soon as I come back off, you know, some rubbish comes up in my head, something comes up when I'm outside. You know, it's a monkey mind. The brain is a thinking machine, and it's beautiful. It's great to think. We just want to make sure that we're thinking the positive, productive thoughts that make us grow. And again, maybe if you become some kind of guru and you could become enlightened, maybe you completely stop thinking, but I'm just not there yet. So what I would say to people is like, the myth of meditation is not to stop thinking. You're not meant to stop thinking. The meditation is actually when you see yourself. The best way to describe it is like, if you're reading a book, right? You're reading a book and you're reading a book and like and you get to the bottom of the page and you're about to turn over, you're like, shit, I forgot what I just read. Like, you have no idea what you've just read because you've gone off somewhere, like you think about the shopping. And that kind of, you wouldn't beat yourself up for it. You just read the page again, right? That moment when you realize you forgot what you've read you come back to reading. That's what meditation is. It's like that moment that you realize you're thinking, you just come back to your breath. Or that moment that you realize you've gone into a story, that's the meditation. Like then you just come back to your intention. And so, yeah, you there's many different things to keep your mind like anchored in the now. And it could be something like counting. You could just count sometimes like 1, 2, 3, just counting to 10. I guarantee you'll probably get to about 6 and the brain's already thinking about something.
Yeah.
And then you just come back 1, 2. And obviously the more you focus and concentrate, you're literally, that gets easier. And then you can get to 100 and then you'll realize you're thinking about something on TV and then you'll come back again. Or it could be just say to yourself, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. And you'll do that for about 2 minutes. You won't even get to 2 minutes, mate, probably like 2 seconds. And the brain will go off and start thinking about something. But I just want to let people know that is meditation. It's like, it's just, and the point is to be so gentle that you think it's okay to think. Like some people I see them in my classes, they sit there like, and they're having this battle with themselves. And I'm just like, chill, like it's all good. There's nothing wrong with thinking. Now you just want to hold the thoughts, be very gentle with them. When they go off, and 9 times out of 10, they're a load of rubbish. None of them are real. You just bring yourself back to the breath. You just bring yourself back to maybe counting, or you bring yourself back to looking at a tree or a candle. You can always do these little things. It is pretty difficult if you've never meditated before, just to close your eyes and go into that meditation. So it's a really good point that you made. It's good to focus on the breath, or it's good to count, or to say a mantra, like you can say positive affirmations or focus on a candle. It's good to do those kind of things when you begin, because you will really see, I think studies say every 3 to 7 seconds, we're having a conversation with ourselves. Every 3 to 7 seconds. That's crazy.
Yeah. And it tends to normally be a negative unless, well, I think, the negative is always going to happen, I believe, but it's if you catch yourself and you become aware of it, that it's actually happening. And then you have that choice, like, can I do anything? Can I not? Move on.
Yeah.
I think that's the level that I try to get to anyway. Like, I don't want to go down that rabbit hutch of worry, doubt. If I can catch it early enough and question it and then be realistic, like, because also as well, we worry so much that we're not living up to society. But then you see a post, you see an article, you see something, and I just say to myself, like, that's not even true. Like, that's been photo image, something's happened there, but so many people look at that and that's what they measure their life on. And it's frightening, because you just know when you're aware of it, like I am now, you just know how fake it is. So many people are so controlled because that person's put a post up about something that they weren't even happy 2 seconds ago. And then they've put this post up all smiling and life's perfect and everything. And then they've photo imaged it. And it's just, social media is so powerful in so many ways, but it's so deadly in so many others.
Yeah. Especially for people's self-image and self-confidence and self-esteem. It's funny, if people imagine people used it like being real. There'd be like photos of people, like women without makeup, men depressed, suicide, all of this realness. Imagine you had but we just put that best side. Most people put that best side on there for, I think that's, I think you really sum up some really good points, Mark. Like, the best thing you could do is put your phone away for the first hour of your day. Like this is what I find sad. Most people are going through their entire life and they will never know who they really are. They're too busy following somebody else. And that could be like, for me, like it's connecting to the spirit, to the soul, to what is my essence inside, not what's Brett on the outside when everybody looks at him as a meditation teacher or a successful whatever entrepreneur. It's like, who am I really inside here? So, it's one of the biggest questions you could ask yourself. And most people will just be so busy achieving and doing and running around or comparing themselves or consuming this conspicuous consumerism. They'll get to the end of their lives and they're going to be like, shit, who was I in all of that? And I actually find it sad, not in a patronizing way. It's like, damn, that's why I just love sharing the light or the meditations. It's like, yeah, it's not easy. Yeah, you got to meditate. Yeah, you got to put your phone away, but it will be worth it in the end. It will be so worth it.
Yeah, I think everyone kind of looks that within 1 week, everything will be solved, but it's that constant working on yourself daily, continuously. And then like consistency, repetition. And it's the same as going to the gym, like same with your mind, isn't it? Like it's something you work on every single day, and it's what you're putting into your body that will help all of your body as a whole, especially up here.
Yeah, I think meditation is literally like the gym for your brain.
Yeah.
You know, again, if you just counted to 100 every morning before you go to bed, or if you did that 5-5-5 breathing exercise for 2 minutes every day, scientists say after 30 days, neurologically, the pathways in your brain will start to change.
Yeah.
So it takes like 40 days to break a habit or start a new habit. If you just did that consistently for 30 days, neurologically, you're changing your brain. That's insane. And then that means that you're having more focus, more concentration. You'll have better sleep. You'll have more energy. You'll have less cravings, less addictions, you know, less negative thoughts.
Yeah.
But again, it's common sense, but it's just not common practice.
Yeah, I think everyone's looking for a kind of quick scheme. Like, you know, you go onto YouTube, you watch a video, oh, everything's solved. Like, it's about applying continuously. It's not just watching a video and like, you know, everything. It's not like Neo in Matrix. I know Kung Fu. You know, it's like you've actually got to do it. You got to practice it. You got to do it. And then when the negativity comes in, you're like, no, I've got this routine. I've got this pattern. And that's what keeps you on course.
Yeah, 100%, mate. I think 100%. Same as like the gym. If you just do your biceps every day in the gym, they're going to get bigger, right?
Yeah.
If you do it once a month, you expect them to get bigger. You're kidding yourself.
No, that's it. So this course which you have, this business which you have, one thing I really like about what you do is you give so much content out for free. Like, and that's what I try to do. Like, my thing is like value first. You need people to see you. You need people to see what you're about, to see what you do. So, but I think some people think, well, I can't give all this information out because then why is somebody going to want to sign up to what I'm doing and like, you know, pay for it in the end? So I think it would be quite cool for people to understand, like, you can do value first because then something good will come from it. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, to be honest with you, mate, I literally love putting people before profit. You know, and there's a great book. I think it's called The Buddha in Business or something. Okay. And some business guy wrote a book. Yeah, it's a good book, and he's talking about putting people before profit. So, like, I'm always thinking about trying to like raise consciousness, like raise awareness, like, and the business actually comes second. Like, you know, the business for me is just a vehicle or a tool to help me pay for like 4 or 5 staff members, drink loads of coconuts, you know, live in a nice place. But the main focus is like putting the people before the profit. And I think if, like what you just said, if you add value to people's life, like people, there's like, people will remember what is it? Something like they remember what you say, or I can't remember the quote, but if you make them feel something, they will be like a customer or a friend for life, or they will have a transformation. And so for me, it's like, it's just obvious. If you just give value, I just believe, I know this is a bit woo-woo and spiritual, but the universe is always going to look after you. You know,
I agree.
If you just give it out, it's going to come back to you tenfold. You could call it karma. You could call it law of reciprocity. For me, again, it's just common sense, you know, and I just love giving out. And I think a lot of people have a bit of a fear about giving and their best ideas and sharing that, because they might then think that they haven't got nothing else to sell and nothing else is going to. But the way I see it is the more I give out and I give all the best stuff out, like when I've given it out and everyone's like, oh my God, then all of a sudden I get another better idea and then another better idea. And that is like literally the flow. Like if it's all about energy, it's meant to be channeling and flowing through us. So I'm with you on that one, mate. I just love giving the value out. And from a financial business point of view, it's worked amazingly. It's definitely worked. I wouldn't say that I set out to have this as my business model. I haven't even got a business plan, to be honest with you. I didn't have this whole, I was just like, I'm just going to do it and we'll see how it goes. And it's worked year after year, and it gets better and better and better. So from a financial business structure point of view, 100% it really does work. But again, from a place of serving customers and seeing people's lives change and people getting results, like that's priceless. And we always get that. People say you give out so much value, and to me, then it's a win-win. I learned this years ago in business. Business should always be a win-win. You know, if I set up a yoga studio in a city next to another yoga studio, I'm the kind of person that would say, oh, we're full today, but go to that next yoga studio. They're amazing. Whereas a lot of people would be like, oh no, they're trying to keep this like competition. I just don't believe in that. I know it's out there, but I just don't want to put my head into that. So what I'm trying to say is, like, if you just add value and you just share that content with people and you don't see this competition, I've just found it becomes more successful, mate. It's something just works out for you. I can't even explain it. It just works.
Definitely. And I think with me personally, like I'm doing a 1-year challenge at the moment. So every day, every work day, I need to put out a video, some sort of, and it was a sales tip video originally with the banner behind me and, hi, this is the Mark Sclaire training, you know, like, but it wasn't that authentic enough. Now I just get the camera, and it's not just about sales tips, it's about mindset, motivation, like, you know, believing in yourself, things like that. But what's come from that is I've got better on camera, knowing what I'm talking about. And it's actually helped me build the online course because I've got feedback from people as well. Like, this is good, maybe you should improve here. And that's why my podcast is called Failing My Way in Public to Success, because every day I put myself out there and I get some negativity, but I go, look, I'm just trying to help. That's all I'm trying to do. Some people will connect with, some people it won't. You can't save everybody. You know, that's what I've worked out. Not everyone can be saved. So I just move on with it. And the ones that want to be helped, let's do something together.
Yeah, amazing, mate. Yeah. And you can put more energy into that as well. I actually started off like that years ago. I was so petrified talking in front of the camera. When I first learned all the marketing stuff, I wore a shirt and I was trying to be somebody like, hi, my name is Brett. Today we're going to talk about funnels. Yeah. And but it was the best thing I ever did. I did it for a year as well. Every day, a YouTube video, I think it was. And at the end, now I don't care what I look like on camera. I'm just myself. It's just people like it, people don't like it. I'm not there to impress anybody. I'm just there to share. And I think it was the best challenge I did was that, speaking on camera. And again, from a self-actualization point of view, like waking up and looking at yourself, you really get to see yourself when you're in front of a camera. You look back at it, and at first, I don't know about you, but I was like, oh, I was cringing, I was twitching, my voice sounded a bit dodgy, I was such a geezer. And then after a year, like, I just didn't care. I was like, oh, that's nice, he's pretty cute, keep going.
Well, you know what it is, like, so many people have all of these courses and all of these online things and coaching, and, you know, you need to be coached. But what sells is authenticity. So if you were to come on here in your shirt and stuff like that, that's not you, but that is you, you know, and people buy into who you are, and that transfers over. Like, the fakeness does not transfer. Like, you, as I said, when we first met, it was like you had this light, this beam around you, which was just amazing to see. It's like you walk around one of those halo lights constantly.
Maybe I'm enlightened now.
And it, you know, it's just infectious. It's amazing to see. And I'm sure you do have the down times a little bit, but this is it. And that's important as well. Like, you do have those moments, but you know, because you meditate, you train yourself to be like, okay, that was a bad day, but tomorrow's going to be better. Yeah. And that's what I really like about sorting out here first before anything.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think that comes before anything. If it's a business that you want to succeed in, if it's a relationship that you want to succeed in, if it's your health, going to the gym, like eating, I just think that is like, that's, to me, is number one. Like, everything comes from that. Like, there's only one true power in this whole world, and that's your imagination and how you think, and nobody can take that away from you. Like, I know there's a lot of control and stuff, but at the end of the day, you're the one that gets to choose how you want to think. If you start to understand the nature of the mind, and that's powerful, man. Like, you can genuinely choose who you want to be and do what you want to do. Like, that's amazing. Brilliant. Yeah.
Well, look, before we wrap this up, I'd like to finish with one question. I didn't have you prepared for this one, but let's see. Well, is there a question that I should have asked that I haven't asked that you think everybody should know?
What book has inspired me the most?
Okay, there you go. So, Brett, what book has inspired you the most?
Amazing. What book? Now I've got to bloody think about it, haven't I? I thought of a question, but I didn't think of the answer. I think probably there's a book. I've got nothing against it, and I'm not a religious person, and I'm definitely not preaching. You know, I meditate, but I'm not some kind of Buddhist guru or monk or anything. I'm just a normal bloke that woke up because he was suffering, you know, and that's why I love meditation. So yeah, I mean, all jokes aside, with the spirituality and the religion stuff, I think they're just a load of words, to be honest with you. But there is a book called Discover the Power Within You by Eric Butterworth. And the reason why I just had that little, Discover the Power Within You by Eric Butterworth. The reason why I just had that little rant about religion and spirituality is because he is a religious person. So he talks about Jesus in this book. And again,
Okay.
I'm not Christian. I've got nothing against it whatsoever. But he basically says there was a human being on the planet that basically mastered his mind, and he mastered life. And he's not saying that there's some heaven in the sky, there's some God. He basically breaks down what Jesus was really teaching. And I absolutely love it, mate. Yeah. And you read that book, and I've got it upstairs. It's like fallen to pieces. There's notes written around it. I've probably read that book. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. I've probably read that book about 30 times back to back. It's like literally like a Bible, even though I'm not religious. And I've shared it with hundreds and hundreds of people. And I'm like, if you just go beyond some of the words like religion and, you know, Jesus, whatever, if you just get his message, if you listen to what he's truly saying, he's talking about mastering your psychology. He's talking about like proper meditation and true prayer. And he's talking about this power that we've got within us. Like, this is our God-given gift in a way.
Yeah.
And if you get that and you feel that, like, your life will never be the same again. I've read hundreds of books, but that's just one that really, I don't know, man. I keep reading it. Just keep reading it.
No, that's amazing. I mean, for me, with like faith and religion and all things like that.
Are you religious, are you, Mark?
Pardon?
Are you religious then, are you, mate? I never really asked.
Not so much religious, but what I like is guidance, like something to keep me on a good path. And that's what I was trying to get at there. Like, if you want to be this religion, be this religion. If it makes you a good person, like, awesome, brilliant. You know, it's just shame that sometimes this religion is conflicting with other people, but on the base of it, if it gives you the foundation to be a good person, like the 10 Commandments, you know, if you follow the 10 Commandments, you're going to have a pretty good, stable life. If everyone followed those guidance, it'll be pretty cool. And then, you know, just like family, like for me, religion is like families coming together as well. So that's important. And it's just something that, it just gives me guidance. It gives me something to follow, a path to go down. So I'm thankful because of that. Yeah.
No, I totally agree, mate. I've read things like from Buddhism to the Bible to the Quran, Hinduism. I've read it all, but I don't subscribe to one of them. I just take a little bit of juice out of each of them and create my own. And I agree with you. If that bit of guidance or that bit of direction in life is what most people are craving, really, you know? Yeah.
Exactly.
What's let me ask, what's the best book that's inspired you, mate? What's your go-to book?
So at the moment, the book I'm reading is Tony Robbins' Awaken the Giants Within. Yeah. I mean, I got it as a Christmas present. It's about 550 pages with font size 1. So I'm about a fifth of the way through it at the moment. But I mean, that's a pretty cool book. I was a bit against Tony Robbins because he was a bit too much, but I love the stories that he tells. I love people that tell stories to explain. So that's really cool. And that's what I'm trying to build with my course as well. Like, telling stories to get people to understand, like, there is opportunity, there are ways to get through stuff, rather than me just going, this is how you do it, this is what you do. You speak about previous experiences. So that's a really good book. I've read last year, my goal was to read like 4 books. I wasn't really much of a big reader, but last year I finished with 17 books in total. So I kind of, I lit a fuse. I lit this fire and it just kept on going and going. So I read like The Alchemist, I read that. And then I read The Monk That Sold His Ferrari. And then stuff like this, like I've actually got it on the tape, but, you know, Russell Brunson, Marketing Expert Secrets, stuff like that. Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman, which for me is like the biggest difference, like self-awareness and to understand why people do what they do. Because that's the biggest thing. Like, if you can understand why someone is behaving like that, you can actually just accept it and realize it's not anything to do with you. I think people take things so personally, like they're going against me. No, like they have problems. Like there's some reason why they're acting like this. So I'm aware of
100%.
that. So I'm allowed to kind of get on with my day because of it. But, you know, I'm like you, like you have to keep on reading stuff again and again and again, because you can read it and then come back to it a year later and your whole perspective has changed on it. It's the same page, the same note that you've written, but it's opened something up for you again.
Yeah. Sometimes I read a book and I'm just like, I swear that chapter wasn't in there the last time I read that. Like, where did that come from? It's like a gold mine.
Yeah. Yeah. Like they say, read loads of books, get loads of knowledge. No, you can have like a core collection of books, maybe even just 10 or something. You can read those the whole of your life and you can just learn new things each day from it.
Yeah, I agree.
Awesome. Well, look, Brett, where can they reach you? Like if they want to follow your page, or because I'll tell the audience now, like you are very active on social media in regards to putting out value content. So what's your page they can go follow?
Yeah, so for anybody who wants to kind of like get into the mindset or the meditation stuff, definitely on Instagram. We do a live meditation every Monday to Friday at 9 o'clock in the UK time. And that Instagram handle is called Brett, BRETT Moran, MORAN _. So Brett Moran _. And just, and then they can find all the links to our websites. We have like free webinars, online course. We have like a 4-week meditation course just to really help people create like an 8-minute meditation practice. Then we have like a 10-week whole meditation program that they can go through. So first thing to do is probably just come and check me out. See if they like it. They can do a free meditation on Instagram. If they get a buzz for it, then they can crack on to the next thing. If not, they think he's a nutter and go and find someone else.
Yeah.
So Brett
Well,
Moran,
I'll tell everyone now, like even just the post you put up, just the sunsets in Thailand and stuff, like, if you can, if people can just be like, that's cool, man, rather than just being like, oh, I want to be there, I need this. Like, no, just like, that is a cool sunset, like the coconut water, the drinking, it's just a cool life. And you're also, being successful in your own way as well. What is success anyway? I mean, that's a question for another day, but how do you measure success? We could talk about that for hours, but the page is cool. So I'd love everyone to go follow it. But Brett,
nice one, mate. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time. I think what you've said, what you've spoken about will help people. I'm going to put your details on the post so they'll be able to follow you. But again, thank you very much. And I will hopefully see you out in Thailand soon enough. Hopefully going to visit Michael soon. So once we can actually get out there properly.
Yeah, mate. Coconuts are on me, mate. When you get it, it'd be amazing.
Brilliant. Perfect. All right, Brett. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a great day.
See you later, mate. Bye.
Cheers. Bye now. Thanks for listening and watching, guys. I hope there were some real gems that you get inspired by and take action with. Within the description, I tried to mention everything that's been spoken about, but on a daily basis, I put out content to inspire and help others. To see more, please like, subscribe and follow me on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Spotify and Apple Podcast. Search by the name Mark Sclaire. Thank you very much again and I hope you enjoy the journey.